So in this section of notes, we're going to look at the different forms of tener that we're going to need to know throughout the year. So we're going to look at the present tense, the preterite tense, the imperfect tense, and the future tense. And those are the 4 tenses we're going to focus on during the school year this year. So the present tense forms of the verb tener are yo tengo, tú tienes, usted tiene, él tiene, ella tiene, nosotros tenemos, ustedes tienen, ellos y ellas tienen. Remember that tener is a boot verb in the present tense, so in the nosotros form, we do not have the e to ie change like we do other places. Tener is also a yo-go verb, so if you look at the yo form, it ends in go. You don't have to write this down in your notes unless you really want to, but just to look at the definitions of what tener means in the present tense, I have, you have, he has, she has, we have, y'all have, and they have. The preterite tense is one of our past tenses, and you were working on this at the end of 8th grade last year. So the preterite forms of tener are yo tuve, tú tuviste, usted tuvo, él tuvo, ella tuvo, nosotros tuvimos, ustedes tuvieron, ellos y ellas tuvieron. So tener is one of our preterite tense irregular verbs. Now notice with this that the nosotros form changes as well. So we don't have boot verbs in the preterite tense. So just as a comparison between the present tense and the preterite tense, our meanings of tener in the preterite tense are I had, you had, he had, she had, we had, y'all had, and they had. You don't need to write those down unless you want to, but just keep in mind the difference in tense. The imperfect tense is another past tense in Spanish, and we're going to work on both the preterite and the imperfect this year and telling the difference between each one. So the forms of tener in the imperfect tense are yo tenía, tú tenías, usted tenía, él tenía, ella tenía, nosotros teníamos, ustedes tenían, and ellos y ellas tenían. Couple things to notice. There is no stem change in the imperfect, and all of your forms have an accent mark. So if we look at our English meanings of tener in the imperfect, I used to have, you used to have, he used to have, she used to have, we used to have, you all used to have, and they used to have. So used to is part of our translation in the imperfect tense. So you don't have to have separate words for that. And this is going to refer to things that you did repeatedly in the past, habits, talking about your childhood, and situations like that are similar to that. So in the future tense, our forms of tener are yo tendré, tú tendrás, usted tendrá, él tendrá, ella tendrá, nosotros tendremos, ustedes tendrán, and ellos y ellas tendrán. So notice that there's a change all the way through. You have the DR. And then also notice that all of your forms except nosotros have an accent mark. So let's take a look at what tener means when you conjugate it into the future tense. I will have, you will have, he will have, she will have, we will have, y'all will have, and they will have. So the will is part of the translation. You don't need to have a different word or anything like that. So you just need to conjugate your verb into the future tense, and that's part of what it means.